Hello again my friends, this is the Boy and His Dog and welcome to the second part of my Ever thoughts, this time focusing on the alpha. Sorry, I've tried to condense my thoughts as much as I could. You've all seen the reviews by now, so this is just my thoughts on the machine overall, the packaging, the machine, the controls and the games I played on it. Please note I of course needed footage for in the background when I talk, but the bloody thing is so big the only place I can record is my kitchen, as I have no office to speak of. And no one wants to see the entire contents of my kitchen, but just trying to get everything in shot and not show some of what was in there was a nightmare, along with the over reflective screen. Turning the lights off when looking at the games helped with this, but made the image not as sharp as it actually is. So bear in mind all the games look phenomenally better when actually standing in front of it and playing. Now all that crap's out the way, let's get stuck in. And so here's the lovely box. No surprise, Blaze always do a good job on the packaging, and it's a big old beauty, isn't it? With the sides depicting the same art as the art on the sides of the cabinet. And the back showing off the 6 games that came built in. It also came with 6 cards to place above the screen as they are interchangeable, but actually I stuck with the original Mega Man one as it fits the best with the overall look. And it also came with a poster and a sexy blue controller you can plug in one of the 2 ports on the front. They say for 2 to 3 players, but you must be using this for console and home computer games that just don't feel right or work with the arcade style controls. And I've just realised I forgot to record footage for that. Never mind. And let's look at the machine itself. Not too heavy, but heavy enough. See how much nicer the sides are, compared to me anyway, to the boring ones on the other cabinet. And once I learned not to be scared to use the arcade stick properly, it's much more robust than I realised, and it is a great feeling to control. The buttons are suitably clicky and are unusual placement you'd expect for arcade, though of course we are missing 2 buttons, but we are covered mostly for that. The on and off switch is the coin slot, which lights up and is an unnecessary but deeply appreciated feature, as is the marquee area above the screen. Lovely additions only there for aesthetic purposes that heighten the experience more than you would think. And the screen is ample big enough in my opinion, considering how close you sit, and even further back if you've got your feet up with an add-on controller. For screen comparisons, here is my gorgeous Atari Super Pocket and my new Pirate EXP. So the screen size is more than big enough, let's be fair. There are 2 speakers each side and they are loud, but you can helpfully tone them down or even higher with a switch beneath the power button. And either side of the power are the change trays which double as your cart slots, again another aesthetically pleasing addition. And there's 2 USB slots, one under each of the 2 additional controllers, and a headphone jack. If you have either the VS or EXP, you should feel right at home with the interface. It feels like an amalgamation of both, as it feels a bit more XP but has the 2 cart slots, like the VS, if that makes sense. Great new menu music, and the built-in games have an auto track mode play, which feels very authentic. You've also got your hidden games and game of the month, which rounds out this lovely package, making you wonder if it could be a main console. There are 6 games built into the system, and I'm going to be honest with you, they are not why I bought the machine. I bought the machine to have an arcade cabinet to play my arcade carts on. I chose this over the Street Fighter Alpha cabinet for 2 obvious reasons. The Mega Man cabinet is so much more interesting to look at compared to the accurate but rather plain and boring side panels of the Street Fighter cabinet, and I'm crap at fighting games. Though I adore Puzzle Fighter, it's the arcade version though. The console version is superior, and I do still have that on the PS1 if I really need to play it. Of the 6 games, the 2 Mega Man titles are more like a one-on-one fighting game, so not as much fun as the platform series, and I do feel they're missing out on something greater here. The company that made the games I'm referring to, not Blaze. But saying all that, they are a lot of fun in their own right, and there is much more replayability than may first appear, from choosing who to go through the gauntlet with, to choosing which routes to take. Each with its own selection of characters to face, it feels more like a boss rush mode if you're more used to Mega Man's original game, and the different routes aren't too tricky until you get towards the end of each run, I think I used only 1 or 2 credits for the last sections, and then used quite a few. But they're a fun title to try in 1 credit, I think, once you learn all the patterns and which weapons are best for which enemy. The remaining 4, we've got Final Fight, which is as expected gorgeous on the alpha screen, and plays like a dream. Knights of the Round is a similar scrolling beat 'em up, more in the gold knack style though, fun for a fair few blasts. Strider is fun, but it just makes me think of Assassin, which I know Team 17 kind of copies Strider, but arguably it's better, well for me anyway, I'm the only one arguing. And we've got a decent enough sideways scrolling shoot 'em up, which is fine but just makes me want to tuck into the arcade cards, as there are much better ones there. My only complaint with the selection of inbuilt games is I'd rather other Capcom titles like Ghouls and Ghosts remind me of my youth, of course. But moving quite quickly on from them to the main reason for getting this gorgeous beast, and that is the ability to play Evercade carts. And my goodness, this is when you realise you're onto a winner with this system, and yes, over most other competing cabinets, because you can make as many arguments as you want why this cabinet or that cabinet is better, but none have cartridge slots with the ability to add over 60 other collections. The arcade carts. We have 13 collections to play with. They all seem to load and play brilliantly. I've had 0 issues here. It was so much fun to go back through starting at Arcade Cart 1 and working my way through to the latest, and all what fun I've had. First up was the Technos Arcade Collection. As you know, if you follow my channel, while I do very much enjoy side-scrolling beat-em-ups, my least favourite are in fact the Double Dragon series, and I actually found them more fitting to play on the Alpha, so that was a surprise. Combatrise is still a beautiful game to behold though, love it. Next up is Data East Arcade 1, and Jamie, I really tried with Burger Time, as you said, and I still can't stand it. The ladders are still fiddly, and I just couldn't wait to get off of it. Sorry Jamie, I tried. But the highlights were Sly Spy and Tumble Pop, and they play like a dream. Better experiences than playing on the console, if I'm honest. And next is Gallico Arcade 1, the dream car. Alligator Hunt is amazing. It was amazing before, it's amazing now. It's just amazing. I mean, it's just infinitely more fun with the arcade cabinet set up. As is also Snowboard, and this machine could very easily become my exclusive for World Rally machine. It's just perfect on it. Love, love, love. I cannot praise it anymore. You got the Alpha, you friggin' buy this cart, yeah? Absolute heaven. The Atari Arcade Collection. Again, a perfect fit, it just feels right. And bonus, I can actually get somewhere in Super Breakout now, no lie. It may still not be the original controls, but it's so much easier with these controls. So that is a huge bonus, and it gets me excited about the Bat and Ball game on one of the later collections. I hope it blows as well. Jellicoe Arcade 1, nothing stands out specifically, but it all just feels and looks great to play. And as for Gallico Arcade 2, World Rally 2, that's all I'm saying, and that's all I need to say. Tasty treat. Irem Arcade 1 is another essential purchase with R-Type. Is still unsurprisingly a dream, as is Battle Chopper and In the Hunt. But I actually ended up playing Moon Patrol the most. Just a lovely, lovely collection. 10-yard fight? Sorry, never heard of it. Tote Plan Arcade 1 just reminded me how much I prefer the first Snow Bros to its sequel. Tracks and of course is a blast, and the rest are all fun, but nothing really stands out. Tote Plan Arcade 2, again nothing stands out, but they're all play great. There is an argument you may have more fun in Taeon Toast mode on the XP, but that's all just down to personal taste, I'd say. Pico Interactive has a few bonkers titles to enjoy, but I think the most fun I had, and found much easier to pull off moves etc, is The Legend of Silk Road. This car is just a good time overall. Toplan Arcade 3 is so close to a masterpiece I'm crying. Sorry that was over dramatic. The two Batsugan games are just so good, I'm dribbling. We've got the Mighty Traxxon 2 and some cool run and gun games, but all with their own unique take. And yes, the Bat and Ball game is slightly easier with the arcade stick and therefore much more enjoyable. If you're into shoot 'em ups like I am, this is an essential purchase, no arguments, buy it now. Data East is back with a second arcade collection, and it's quite a mixed experience for me, but has much more variety. I love Mr. Horny, Joe and Mac Returns, Midnight Resistance, and I'll never forget Trio the Punch. But then we have Super Burger Time, and what could be my least favourite arcade game in all 13 carts, Bloody Ice Cream Factory. I'm sorry Jamie, again I tried, but if anything I dislike them more for spending hours trying to like them better. And finally, Toplin Arcade 4, that has a solid lineup that plays gorgeously on the Alpha, Doggian, Knuckle Bash and Pippy Bibby probably being the most fun for me. Now it's when we get to talking about the console and home computer carts that things get a bit more interesting. Now, I'll say up front we have had a few issues here, one not so big and one quite big. We'll get the biggest one out the way. I think the Alpha killed my Namco collection too dead. It worked before, it worked on everything, I played it on the Alpha, and on one of the games the ratio was out, it was all a bit weird, it's the Dragon one I think, and then my Alpha crashed. I tried it again the next day for footage on the games where the ratio was correct and the Alpha wouldn't read it. And then nothing else would read it either, not my Super Pockets and not my EXPs. Now I pride myself in always having multiple carts of legacy collections, but it seems I have multiples of everything, and I'm talking 3 or 4s with some games, of everything except Namco Museum Collection 2. And now can he find it anywhere? Now that half is on me, but my beloved cart dying is on the Alpha. It's not the end of the world, I've got to the age now I ain't precious, but it's the end of me enjoying the 2 Slaughterhouse games. I'm just so thankful Pac-Man and Dig Dug are on the other cart and they continue to work fine. There may be a way to sort this out, I don't know, we'll have to wait, as I don't think I'll be finding a decent replacement anytime soon. But I now have a hole in my otherwise complete collection of carts, so I'm getting that slight twitch in my right eyelid, and that's what probably hurts the most. But it is, as they say, what it is. Now the much lesser issue is, even though the separate controller option works for all carts that I've tested, it doesn't work for the Legacy Kane and Tomb Raider collections. I don't know why this is. The arcade sticks work fine, but we're missing 2 shoulder buttons, so I can't play these games fully on the Alpha, as fun as it was trying to career Laura through a cave. A small shame that I know will get sorted in the future, so that's just an issue for now. Now on to the better news. I ain't going through all the collections. For one, it's taken me a week to get to this point, and this video is getting miles too long I'm sure. But I've tried a handful, and I have a couple of what I would say huge recommendations. So first up is Home Computer Collection, the Team 17 collection. This may have been obvious to some of you, of course it was the first thing I bloody tried. I swear Project X and the Alien Breed games were built for this. They're an absolute joy to play and they look so beautiful on the screen, they really do. I love them, I love them, I love them. And another great and probably obvious car is the third Indie Heroes collection just for the Dodo game. It's gorgeous, and perhaps in the end almost stole all my time. I could not stop playing it to the point it doesn't feel right now playing it on a console. I think I found its true home. So I guess it's time to round up all my thoughts, my overall impressions. I can't lie, the machine has stolen my art somewhat. Is it my favourite way to play Evercade now? Give me a bit more time on that. But it is a much better beast than I originally gave it credit for when first hearing about it. Is it the best introduction point for Evercade if you've never done Evercade before? Like everything else, it has its ups and downs. When it sorts out the few tiny bugs I've found so far, which it can with a patch, I can't see why it can't. Any console or home computer game not built around these kind of controls will work with the add-on controllers, so nothing with the device should be off limits to you. I remember hearing about the screen, but you've seen the comparisons versus the Super Pocket and the XP screen, and remembering the little tellies we used to play on some of these games back in the day, and this is much more vibrant. You can't plug it into the TV, but I will admit I'm scratching my head why you'd want to do that. That's what the Evercade VS is for, and without batteries it's not fully portable, but that's what the Super Pocket and Glorious EXP is for. So make sure when going into this you really know what you're after. Yeah, that's the best way. You know, my family actually want to play on it over Christmas after seeing it all lit up and hearing the speakers when I had it out for the past week. They have never wanted to play on either the VS or portables, so for me that is pretty massive. The most I've ever got from them before is wanting to sit and watch me play The Last Guardian each Christmas. I guess because they like to have their heart broken over and over again. I kind of don't blame them for that. Side note, I've never seen a more realistic depiction of a dog-cat type animal in my life. It's like a sentient being has been trapped in the game. I swear Trico is real. And finally, if you are more into these kind of arcade cabinets, more so than retro consoles or handhelds, then what you do, buy it. There's not another one quite like it on the market. Yeah, maybe not have the tail on toast mode or the screen twist or anything like that, but the games, man, it's all about the games. I believe this is the best selection of arcade games you can get anywhere else. So no arguments then, go grab one. If you already have a selection of Evercade devices, then this is just a novelty. A bloody good novelty, but a novelty nonetheless. You don't need this, but you will have fun with one. I think that's the best way to put it. For me, it's definitely more than a novelty, as I can see a lot of use. More than I thought I would. Will be so much more fun to try one credit challenges on the machine over any other device. And it may be the new permanent home for my Indie Heroes 3 and my Team 17 collection, along with the arcade collections. As though you see all my recordings from the VS, I actually only really use the VS for that. I mostly play portable, but that could change with the alpha, depending on the title. Phew, I think that's all my thoughts on the alpha. Sorry the footage wasn't the most professional. It's all working out of the kitchen. I hope I covered everything I wanted to. But what are your thoughts? Have you got one? Thinking of getting one in the future? Will never get one? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've made it here to the end of the episode, thank you ever so much for joining me. Leave a thumbs up or comment if you'd like, but even if not, I'm still chuffed your picture edited for a goosey gander. I will be a little while before the next set of videos are ready, as this has been a bit of an intense blowout for me over the last week. But don't worry, it won't be long. There's an end of year video where I share my thoughts on the whole year and choose my favourite game and collection of the year. Lots of ranking reviews heading your way too, but first I have a couple of 12-hour shifts of real life work to get through, so please look out for them after that. I hope you're having a wonderful December so far, my dear friends, and until next time, be seeing you.